What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing you line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 116, being recorded on June 28, 2021. I am your host, Darth Moocher, and I've got Scott Solo here with me.
What's up, nerds?
And I got Bootleg Joe.
Hey, yo.
And Grand Admiral Franz will be joining us a little bit late, so he's on his way into the magic pit here. Welcome to, and speaking of the pit, welcome pit. And if there's any audio things, let us know. We are live going on. And let's see, hoping that all the audio stuff is good. Before we get started, I do want to give a shout out to our Patreons.
Yes, our patrons and our Patreons. We've got Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour podcast, Donald Sulsky, Rebels and Lions, that's Crystal Lamphere, Brandon Epler and his daughter Anya, AJ Herrera from the Forbidden Panel, and then us Sarlacc guys. That I'm not going to shout those guys.
No, we don't shout ourselves. Well, thank you very much, and anybody so inclined, the link is in the description below to help support the channel and the growth of everything. And speaking of growth on everything, before
where you going with this?
We got Scott has a TikTok.
Oh God.
It's not your normal TikTok. There is no dancing. There's no big booties. There is no, but there's some really cool.
No, that's my TikTok.
That's
Joey's. Scott,
so,
you're doing good, man. It's been fun.
It has been kind of fun. I found my niche, and what I'm going for is if you go onto TikTok. You can even go on the website, tiktok.com/Sarlacc Digest podcast. I'm producing 1-minute toy reviews. So I talk as fast as humanly possible about whatever toy I have in my hand. I don't waste time by ripping it open. I show it carded, and then the next shot is, the figure.
Good.
And it's been fun. It's today I transitioned though, and I did one that will air in a couple of days. It is an actual toy rant. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Gerald Rivera.
Yeah,
loves those one too. I love those too. I think that's a new staple in standard. In fact, Scott and I were talking too about making that an actual challenge. Like, do it 1-minute toy review. All the guys that do the reviews, the toy stuff, make it a minute, make it as detailed and fast as possible. Yet, something that's cool. I think I love it. And Douglas Tupper, more rants. Yes, we love rants, especially the toy rant. Now, if you guys are interested in a rant that's I thought was really cool, I'm going to give Treebeard toy review a shout out. He's
his is great.
A really cool friend of ours. He's on the East Coast. He did a rant about Hasbro Pulse, which I think needs to be almost on repeat at this point.
It's spot on.
It is spot on.
Yeah.
So shout out Treebeard, man. You're nailing it with that. You spoke for us all. So
yeah.
All right. So with that little TikTok thing out of the way, who's in the pit with us?
Okay, in the pit we've got Mervine, Santo 1414. We've got Cliff, Douglas Tupper, Mando Mike is in there. Let's see, skip over Bootleg and me. Robert Vos. I think that's how you say it. Vos? I don't know. Sorry, Robert, if I'm mispronouncing your name. We've got Gerald Rivera. He's a buddy of mine from the NWA days. We've got Adam Vinson. And let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's vocal so far, but thanks, cool. Pitt.
Yeah. Be vocal, Pitt. You're getting digested. It's painful.
Right.
It's painful to be in here. No, it's not. It's usually
I hope
not. So there's been some controversy.
I tell you, I need to make a transition now that says, what is today's scandal?
No kidding. Now, okay. I want to preface this before. Now, This came out of left field to me, and nothing official, but I guess it was on Reddit, and it became on this other thing, and I guess word got out that Lego is removing the Slave One title from Slave One, Boba Fett ship, and now the internet exploded as it does, saying that Disney is removing it because they're getting rid of that word, not going to, I guess. I don't know how to say it, being PR with it or something, or they're removing the negative aspects of it, whatever.
The negative connotation that comes along with the word slave.
Right. Now,
and go ahead.
Again, bringing this to real world in the Star Wars universe, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care because it's in the Star Wars universe. Now they're bringing real world issues to Star Wars again. Now, let's just. I'm just gonna say this. This is on a toy line. First off, it's something that doesn't affect our Star Wars as a whole. Doesn't affect live action. Doesn't affect animation. Doesn't affect what we do here and talk about. This is the real world issue. I think that needs to be separated. Yes, we are going to talk about it, but it needs to be separated. These are things just like somebody said this in an interview, or an actor went off and did this, and then Disney's taking the word slave off. They took off Slave Leia, or they actually didn't take off any Slave Leia. They just didn't say anything. No, Disney hasn't said a word about it. No.
And I honestly have not been able to, I haven't really looked outright, but I have not seen anything officially from Disney saying
there's nothing.
Cut it.
There's nothing. I think what it was the pack. Yeah, there was the Lego packaging that they just said Boba Fett's spaceship kind of deal.
It might have been more or less Lego's decision to do it.
Right. I mean, it could be handed down. Well, it could be handed down from licensing, saying, "Hey, take the the name off of it now."
Now, last year, they did the same thing with the Razor Crest. And there was this big controversy about the Razor Crests, the name being removed, the Razor Crest name being removed from the Lego packaging of the Razor Crest, which everybody was all up in arms about them removing the name Razor Crest because the word razor was in it. That was one of the rumors. Now,
God.
Now, if you go to Downtown Disney, to the Lego store, and you see the Razor Crest, the Razor Crest is there, and it still says Razor Crest. So
the Razor Crest we're getting.
Well, I have I mean, you got the Lego too, right, Scott? The Razor Crest. So I got the box. I mean, I'll look at my box and see.
Well, here's the thing: we're getting a Razor Crest, the ones that did the HasLab, and they just a couple weeks ago still referred to it as the Razor.
The Razor Crest.
The Razor Crest. So again, we don't.
You guys get the box and it says Din Starship.
Mandalorian spaceship. Okay, but
honestly, okay, come on, guys. Now they not once in Clone Wars, not once in Attack of the Clones, not in Empire Strikes Back, not in The Mandalorian have they ever said the name Slave One.
Right.
The only places that it says Slave One are in action figure packages, books, comics, and where was I going with this? Books, comics, action figure or toy packaging, and that's about it.
So I looked into this.
Yeah.
Now I looked into why. I want to know why Jango Fett named the ship Slave One. There's got to be a reason. Now the reason, what I found out if you played the Bounty Hunter video game, you kind of get the idea of when he finds the ship, and he names it because it's called Fire Spray. It's Fire Spray 31, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that's the official name of the ship. It was a police ship it was a prototype police ship that he destroyed the other 5, whatever, and he kept that one. So one of a kind, meaning one. You know. Now, why did he call it the Slave? And there was talks about it because the Mandalorians were enslaved, and so was Jango Fett. So it was like a reminder of him. Now, this came out within the Bounty Hunter video game, and I think I think Chris had mentioned to us a comic book. Now, that's back in, I don't know, when was Bounty Hunter video game made? It wasn't
never played
back
it. So
it wasn't back in Empire Strikes Back day when the actual Slave One packaging came out, and it said Slave One.
It's in the mid '90s. I want to say.
Scott, you have the Kenner package. Yeah. And it says Slave One on it.
It does.
So I want to know why it was called Slave One in the first place. Kenner named it, just like Kenner named everything. George Lucas.
Except the Falcon.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct, because that was in the movie, and that it actually means something as a character in the show. So, and again, I'm not arguing the choice either for. Honestly, I don't care because, like Scott mentioned, it was never mentioned. It's not a big point. Now, in our we zoom into our world, now the times, this is all happening. They're going to get rid of this. They're going to get rid of that. They can't get rid of the fact that Anakin was a slave, and there was slavery in Star Wars. Okay.
It was a main point of contention in Episode 1. Why is there still slavery in the galaxy?
Yeah. So, but back in 1980, when the Slave One came out on packaging, and it said Slave One, whatever by Kenner.
There was no backstory.
There was nothing. So again, I'm curious on why that's coming out now. do you guys think, and maybe the pit can, maybe you guys think where everybody's taking it as another PR or a woke thing, taking it off and doing all these things, but maybe there's actually a reason for it moving forward. Maybe in Mandalorian season or Book of Fett or season 3 of Mandalorian or something, maybe it's gonna come about in a different way.
Maybe he changes. Maybe Boba Fett changes the name of it or something.
Yeah, or maybe he actually names it in live action, making it bringing it to canon, right? Like that would be
my dudes. We can't even decide whether or not Boba Fett is actually Mandalorian. I mean, it's going back and forth. It's
agree.
It doesn't, honestly, it doesn't matter. Everybody who's already bitching about it, they honestly already own the toy. The only way it's going to affect them is if they go out and they go buy a new version of the same toy that they already have. You can log on to Entertainment Earth right now and buy the latest version of Slave One. The packaging is not going to change. It's just going forward. And according to what Lego said, it's to make the ship more identifiable.
Correct.
To the customers. So they're going to identify, they're going to see it's Boba Fett ship. Oh shit, it's Boba Fett ship.
Yeah. Adam Vincent in our pit, he did say if it has a backstory, that real name, with the name, he's good with it. But if it's a PR thing, like I said, bring it into our world. This is where I say I don't care.
Yeah.
Because again, it hasn't been established in new canon, and it's not something like they changed the Millennium Falcon's name, or they changed Luke's, Red 5 call sign.
Somebody brought that up to me today. Yeah. They're like, it was Chris. Chris brought it up. He was like, well, what if they change the Millennium Falcon's name? Well, the Millennium Falcon, they say that name like 3 times in every movie, and it's the
Apples
Millennium
and oranges,
Falcon.
I believe.
Exactly.
It's not even the same thing. That it's in fact, again, it's bring it into our world. This is what I don't like about this whole transition of Star Wars and our world, our real world. We've all loved Star Wars because it's something that we can get away from all that crazy stuff. Everything that's the story was written in times where it was just kind of everybody just threw it out through the wall and it just stuck and everybody just went with it. Really, now it's everybody's pulling back all these things. So again, does it have something to do with the future of the ship and the Book of Fett and all that stuff, or something that we can honestly just ignore? If they never say the name of the ship moving forward in the live action or cartoons or it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter.
What would be really cool is they were talking about the fact that the Book of Boba Fett is going to go back and tell backstory and the history, some of Boba's history.
Yeah,
it would be interesting to see if it gets the name Slave One back then, and if they keep it going forward. I mean, we don't know ultimately what this means. They could still retain the name Slave One, and it's just what's not on the Lego package.
And this all could be BS, right?
Absolutely.
This all could be BS because the Lego package can come out and it could say Slave One. They're like, yeah, we never said that.
I mean, I'm still gonna buy it because I don't have a Slave One Lego. So
you better buy it.
I'm still gonna buy it regardless what the name is. But it's just if that's what the intention was, it's like, come on, just leave the real world.
That's
I'm
what
trying not to cuss. I'm really trying not to cuss. Leave
the
real world politics stuff out of my safe zone. This is my safe zone.
I 100% agree, and I agree with the pit. The sentiments in there too. Let's just. There's other. I think there's more important things to talk about. But again, this came from like Reddit sources. Okay, so I'm not even putting that much thought into, except for right now, the shot, because that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah,
it's just something to talk about in this ridiculous.
Now I know Chris wants to come back and come at it from the other point of view, so I'm very interested to see what Chris is.
Well, I think we're all defending the name as far as like being an established ship. I think we're not like going, yeah, good, let's go, let's take the name off it.
Well, I don't think it's a name we all grew up with. That's what we identified the ship as. Slave One.
And only, and my point is only from a marketing standpoint is that we know the name, not from a Star Wars canon standpoint or story. So
right, because the books and the novels the books and the comics were never officially canon.
Right, just like Walrus Man, Hammerhead, Prune Face,
Squid
Face, Yak Face, all those, they have real name, and that was Kenner's link. I just put a name on it, and again, I'm just curious on who the guy at Kenner said make it Slave One,
right?
And not knowing that fast forward 40, 50 years, that's going to cause a tidal wave. But anyway, I wanted to give
as a yak faced person, I'm offended by that name. I don't know where that came from.
Okay. Oh man. Where was I? Okay, so.
Man, I just threw you all off right there.
Yeah, a little
sorry
bit.
about that.
No, a little bit because I'm trying to think if there was any other kind of stuff before we get into the Bad Batch breakdown, because Bad Batch got some interesting stuff. And it's not going to be boring talk. It's going to be some interesting things.
Did Kathleen Kennedy get fired this week? Oh, I haven't heard whether or not she had been fired.
If I check my zero sources, I think I think she did.
She did.
George Lucas is taking the reins yet again for the third time this week.
Just because of the Slave One thing, I'm sure.
It's breaking records now.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know how many times someone can get fired and rehired at the same time.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Slave One. Bad Batch. The Bad Batch, episode 9, when the title came up called Lost Bounty. I was like, of course it's Lost Bounty. Nothing's this, and it might, because again, I always have like this initial reaction, right? And it's always that title sequence. And it said Lost Bounty. I'm all, so we're not progressing the story at all. Like they're just going to give up Omega. Like Cad Bane's going to lose Omega, which he did. But it actually, the connotation actually means a little bit, more, because we actually get to see in this episode who both Fennec and Cad Bane are working for. We knew Cad Bane was working for.
We were right on both accounts.
And we were.
Yeah.
We were like, we were like kind of like speculating. We wanted Boba Fett, in it, but it's confirming that the Kaminoans are having a tug of war of sort, an undercover civil war, if you will, where two of them hired bounty hunters for two different reasons. The one main reason is to get Omega out of the Bad Batch arms, and then one is back to the Kaminoans for extracting all her DNA or all that stuff and then terminating her. And the other one is probably to save her. Fennec is working with Nala Se, I believe, and to capture Omega, to hide her, to protect her. Okay, so I'm thinking our question is answered. Her purpose, we know her purpose. It's not special powers. It's not what all that stuff like we thought. Everybody has their thing. It is basically to continue the clones because the Jango Fett's material is running out, and they mentioned the two pure ones, one being Boba Fett and one being Omega.
Yeah, Boba Fett being the Alpha.
Correct.
Which was great. I love that.
That was we talked about that too, right? Who was the Alpha?
Yeah,
Boba Fett. No, the Emperor. Okay, Mando Mike says, I thought the Emperor wanted Omega. No, it was never established when Tarkin and Rampart were talking. Their whole thing was just
eliminate the clones altogether.
Eliminate the program altogether and use enlisted materials. And it was the Kaminoans that are telling them, no, we could still serve a purpose in this new empire, because they're all about they don't want to lose their funding. They don't want to lose their facilities.
Yeah.
So we get this whole thing who Fennec is working for and Cad Bane's working for. Of course, we get the Cad Bane Fennec fight over this whole thing.
Number one, what planet are they on? Because I know it's not Camino. It seems like an abandoned facility of some sort.
It's an abandoned cloning facility because we saw the reject clones in tubes.
Yeah, and there was some straight up horror stuff in this, man, with the fog all over the place where you could barely see what was going on screen, and then the tubes filled with nasty dead things. And
what was your guys' first reaction when you saw those two people in the tubes? Yes,
yeah,
exactly. And I didn't get a good look.
They were Kaminoans. It looked like they were cloning Kaminoans.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So because
themselves.
at one point in time, Omega has her hands on one of the tubes and it breaks, and the dead Kaminoan falls on her.
It just had a big head. Yeah. Like I had a big head, like a Snoke's big ass head.
Is grody.
So, it just didn't look like it. Just like I said, I think it was said that it was failed experiments. So it was an abandoned facility that. It was the rendezvous point where Fennec or Cad Bane was to meet, right? The leader guy to basically take the prize.
I keep getting Nala Se, because there's Lama Su, who's the
Lama Su is the one we know that greeted Boba Fett and Jango Fett.
Right.
That's Taun We. I'm sorry, that's Taun We.
Taun We, thank you. Yeah, Taun We. And Taun We is in this episode too. Cad Bane is going to meet Taun We on this facility. And she's got the payments, and he's supposed to trade in. And Taun We and Cad Bane are working for Lama Su, who is the chairman or the head of the cloning facility?
Yeah.
It was nice seeing Taun We again.
Yeah.
And then seeing Taun We get, blown away.
That's right. She's dead. And she's dead.
Yeah. Dead body on the floor. I'm like, oh my God, that's kind of crazy. And then, but it was Fennec that showed up and killed Taun We, because Fennec has been hired by the other Kaminoan to bring either Omega back to her or just let Omega stay with the Bad Batch.
Yeah, she let her escape, but also hired Fennec to take her back. Probably again, I think the Bad Batch troops and they have the same goal, but they don't know that. So there's a struggle. Like she's, like I said, it's a ping pong ball, like being torn. Omega is. Mervine mentioned that he's watching still, but it feels like he's playing an escort mission of a video game. Absolutely. We've mentioned that this whole Bad Batch season, this whole Bad Batch thing is playing exactly like a video game. It's playing like the Bounty Hunter video game that we mentioned, So, good. Yeah, that's spot on. But what really caught my eye, again, I want to go back to the failed clones, because they just look weird. They didn't look like clones, Jango Fett clones. They just, again, it could be a throwaway thing. It could be something that's like, it's just in a facility that was shut down, like a phase 1 facility that that was a rendezvous point. But I don't know. It just
like Scott. I didn't get a good look at the body or the clone or whatever. But the minute I saw them in those jars, I was like, oh my God! Because don't even tell me these are like Snoke type clones.
Would that change everything? I mean,
well, yeah.
Wouldn't that? I mean, it would just confirm that what we saw in The Mandalorian, right? We saw the Snoke clones in The Mandalorian season 2. It would just confirm that it was early, like way early on. Like he was planning it from the day he basically became a Sith Lord. He was planning.
And are these the starting like the Type 1 clone that they're trying to make a Force sensitive clone? Are these the starting points?
Mando Mike just sent me a screenshot. It almost looks like a Celestin, like Nien Nunb, and one of the clones almost looks like, it's got a weird, like multi-jowled face, kind of like Nien Nunb. But I don't know. It's not quite right to be a Celestin, so I don't know. It's creepy, whatever it is. Yeah.
As far as
is there a way we could put the picture up?
Let me send it.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I send it
I got to prepare for that ahead of time.
Okay. We're not all powerful yet.
Not yet.
We're working on it though.
Yeah.
That's why we need you to go right now onto patreon.com.
Yeah.
Sarlacc Digest.
Because I guarantee I'll try to do it and I'll end the broadcast.
we need to be all powerful. So please become all powerful.
Yeah. And also, Joey, to your point about the force sensitive, I mean, there's no evidence at this point. Like I said, I think we got our answer to who Omega is, what her value is. I think we got that answer. It's just source material to make more clones. I think that's the end all be all for her character. Now, but it was still interesting to know that, like I said, we know that Kamino Facilities was not their first go-to or whatever. It's like the best of the cloners. Now, and honestly, we don't even know if it's their facility. I mean, they know about it, but
Yeah.
So again, the Fennec and Bane fight
was amazing.
Yeah, I agree with Mervine, and Mervine said an updated Black Series Cad Bane.
Yeah.
I mean, they're only going to change the hat. I think. I don't think anything.
The metal plate on his head, maybe.
Yeah, the metal plate on his head.
Yeah,
right.
Because that hat is like super small compared to the one that we have right now.
Yeah.
Well, he needed a new hat after getting a hole blown in his original, right? They're
acting like that episode exists, right? I mean, but And if anybody doesn't know, it's the Lost Missions where Boba Fett faced off with Cad Bane, which Boba Fett gets the dent in his helmet's explaining that. I mean, it's just the showdown. But again, Lost episodes aren't canon,
right?
But they're fun. But they're pulling some like Easter eggs in that,
Yeah, I love the way he used his rockets, his boot rockets. I mean, there's some really good fight scenes going. Using it to fly, using it to help propel, the attacks. It was great. Yeah. Very well choreographed.
And I love Toto now. I love him. He's Cad Bane's droid. He's awesome. Of course, Omega manipulates him to escaping. Again, yeah. So she, again, the whole Bad Batch thing was they found her on this gas planet because it did look like a Bespin type planet, which was gas, my initial thought, right? Again, everybody goes there. Oh, that's Bespin because Lando took over this facility to mine Tabana gas.
Yeah,
it could be still Bespin. Who knows? But again, it's too small of a world, I think.
Yeah.
Again, but that's where our minds go to because of the elevated cities. Yeah. So, of course, we leave off of this episode of we know who everybody's working for now, and everybody in the Bad Batch has got her back, and they're going back. I think they mentioned about going back to Sid to find out who Fennec is, because I think the Bad Batch still needs to know. Which is cool. Again, I'm looking forward to this episode. But we did again. I don't know how much people want to know about things. Scott, if you could pull up the list of those titles.
I've got it set and ready to go. And
cool. I'm going to give a pre-warning here. Now, again, this is on IMDb, so again, if we just saw this, some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't make sense, or you could tell. But we found out the next 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We found out the next 6 titles of the Bad Batch, or 5 titles of the Bad Batch episode.
I'm an artist; I don't count.
So I want to go through them real fast because you can almost kind of see where it's going. And again, this is not the last 2. Or the last episode, which we also hear of a rumor on the very last episode. The composer, I don't know his name, which I should know his name, said that he cried. It brought him to tears.
Yeah, it was so emotional. The final episode, yeah.
Yeah, and what was my reaction? Hell yeah, good. Like, which is interesting too.
So, do we want to go through this? Do we want to? Why don't we
name them off real fast? Like.
Unless, do you want to name one off and just say what we think it might be, just to speculate?
We can go over just real fast because like the next one makes sense to me, then the other ones don't.
Okay,
we can go.
Episode now. I think the second episode I'm going to name makes a lot of sense.
Okay,
we'll get there. Episode 10 of season 1, Common Ground.
Yeah. Now, this is where I think Fennec and Cad Bane were going to come to terms.
I don't think so, man.
You don't think so? I mean,
no.
Because both of them didn't get the bounty. Both of them are bounty hunters, and both didn't get the credits. The credits got destroyed. So I think they're going to get common ground to go after either the Bad Batch or the Kaminoans or somebody. I think
it's Imperial. I think it's going to be the Empire finding a common ground between using clones and using stormtroopers.
There you go.
But speculation.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or could it be a Crosshair, a real reunion of Crosshair and the Bad Batch? They find some common ground.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. Episode 11, The Devil's Deal.
So
Darth Maul confirmed.
It's not out of the realm of possibility.
This is where I think the Bad Batch have to make a deal. Dangerous was somebody dangerous.
With who though? It's got to be a devil.
That Crimson Dawn. Oh, he's not in Crimson Dawn right now, is he?
No, not. Wait.
He's not even.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, because season 7, the episodes in season 7 on Mandalore, Darth Maul is talking, and you see him talking to Dryden Voss in a hologram.
So maybe the deal with the Devil's Deal or whatever is like they have to go to one of these guilds or these underground to protect, to hide them.
I like that. I like that a lot.
That would be amazing.
So that won't happen.
Yeah,
but I think it's amazing.
But yeah, exactly.
Or a deal with somebody from the Empire, like some kind of like a false safety type thing, where we'll keep you safe if you just give us that clone or whatever, or the child or whatever. Something.
it could be too where Rampart, like I said, we haven't really seen a lot of Rampart other than like a propaganda machine
Right.
on this. So would it be cool if Rampart got wind of what the Kaminoans were doing, like trying to find this the Omega, right, and do it? Maybe he's like, well, maybe I need to find her first, as because they finds out what the Kaminoans are up to. Because there's one title in here that's what we're going to come to that I think is the all-out destruction of Kamino. But yeah.
Okay. Next episode, Rescue on Ryloth. This is episode 12.
Yeah. So this is, to me, it seems like a filler, or Omega gets captured again. So,
This is the episode.
Yeah.
This is the episode where the Bad Batch go to Ryloth and they help rescue Hera's family. They get Cam, Syndulla, and Hera out of a sticky situation.
Yeah,
and we see Hera go off with the
that is so
fleggling Rebel Alliance.
Okay, and then
Of
like Douglas Topper said, Rex or a rebellion, and I mean this could be where these guys come in, and then the meetup back with Rex. The compromise also could be a compromise with the rebel. They're actually joining the fight. I mean, this all could be. We just throw these things out there.
Well, well, is he talking about the whole the deal with the devil thing type one, or is he talking about something else?
Yeah. He mentioned that, but I put it out there to like maybe this ties in
with Rescue.
Going back to Ryloth is cool. I like Ryloth. I like the Twi'leks. And it sounds like a filler episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. All right, now on episode 13, I think we see them go back to Geonosis for the episode called Infested. See, I'm already throwing out my idea right there.
Infested again. It sounds like a filler episode, right?
Absolutely.
Like, they get trapped on a plant like Mando did. We get because again, you use the Mandalorian formula and the spiders. It's the they go to back to the spiders.
Planet. It's a spider planet.
Okay, we can skip
confirmed. Okay, now the last episode that we know a title of. I love the name of this episode. It's season 1, episode 14. It's called War Mantle.
Yeah. Now, War Mantle it makes a big Empire thought in my head because this is where it's stamped, sealed, and approved of the war machine that the Empire is doing.
They're passing on the mantle of trooper to stormtroopers and closing out the clones altogether.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
Now, Chris had mentioned, and I think this still might be true, and it still could be true to this. Like he mentioned, like every regiment in the Empire is going to be led by clones, meaning because they're more scarce than they are enlisted men.
Do you think that maybe this is the part where the Empire they've gathered enough troops like stormtroopers, to turn around and just slaughter all the clones to just take them all out?
Yeah, well, that like I said, this could be the fight. I'm expecting
orbital bombardment.
I'm expecting a pushback between the Kaminoans, the clones, and the Empire. And this is where, again, like I might go against Chris's theory of the clones join, like all, like not all of them, but like most of them not joining and being killed off. This might be the one that pushes Crosshair over the edge, and Crosshair is this might be him going back to the Bad Batch on this, or somehow.
But I could totally see the Empire doing like another type Order 66, but on the clones.
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe
Order 67, Order 69.
If we hear a command to get all the clones to come back to Kamino, like everybody report to Kamino, then the orbital bombardment will commence. You know what I mean? Like, hey, everybody, our orders to go back home. Like, go back. Let's all go back. They all meet on Kamino, and then
family reunion, giant family reunion.
And you know why? And here's the reason why too. Yes, the chip. There was a big push by Tarkin and Rampart to make sure the chip works. They had to zap Crosshair's chip twice. They did it the first time, and they redid it again. Now, maybe their concern is if it could be turned off or fail or removed, then we're going to have an army to fight on our hands. If somebody gets a hold of the clone starts changing them over, so another reason to switch over to enlisted men.
That's right, because they can't then rely on their slaves, or I'm sorry, prisoners with jobs.
Exactly. which makes a lot of sense moving forward, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope Disney ain't listening. Don't give them no ideas.
It makes a lot of sense that way, and then it makes like what Joey we're talking about, in chat and stuff, and about why go to enlisted men when clones were so efficient. But again, clones are loyal to their orders, but if the chip can force them to go against the people they were fighting for 5 years, maybe the chip could be reversed and fight against the Empire now.
Yeah.
Which will again put the paranoia in Rampart and Tarkin and stuff to recall them all home and to destroy them all at once, and then just use enlisted men from now on when we get the Empire. Which again, that makes perfect sense. We didn't get the titles for 15 and 16, which is fine because that's like the end all be all spoiler. Whatever.
So we've never had a novel or comic book that showed what happened. Like, what was the exact end of the clones?
No. We've always just kind of assumed that they aged out.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Correct.
that was before we knew. At least for me, I always thought they aged out, and that was before I knew that there was an inhibitor chip.
Right.
So with the inhibitor chip, God only knows.
Yeah. Mando Mike, Russian hack clones. Yes. It's Russian hacked them, and they start fighting the Empire.
Absolutely.
Also, going back to people are mentioning that going back to Ryloth, Hera joins. We're gonna maybe see Hera. Maybe we'll see Caleb that escaped to Ryloth too, and that's how they met too. That'd be awesome.
Well, yeah. What if they
would
show the exact moment they meet?
That would retcon the Book of New Dawn, though.
Oh, okay.
And I mean, not that they're above retconning at all,
but that's major. I mean, the whole Caleb thing about it changing a little bit of the aspect of how he fought Ran and when Order 66 happened. That's different than actually So I don't know. I didn't read Red Dawn, so.
Oh, A New Dawn is
Red Dawn.
You should. Red Dawn. It is really well written, and it ties into some of the other books too.
Yeah, so Douglas Tupper, they can't kill the clones. They retire them from Rebel Season 2 where they meet Rex. But those, when they meet Rex, I mean, they're on, they're not involved.
They're hiding.
They're hiding. They're on the run.
Yeah.
They're on the run, and they're in the big AT-AT, right?
So obviously something was, if they're on the run, something was hunting them.
Because their chips were deactivated. So they were on the run.
Those three, I mean,
hiding. Yeah.
We only saw Rex, Wolf, and Gregor. I mean, God knows where the rest of them are.
Right. So again, they're all dead. You know? We know that Rex went to fight on into the Battle of Endor. Right. The old
supposedly,
man. On paper it works.
I like it.
Pablo Hidalgo, I think, is the one who confirmed it.
Nick Sant was a stupid character name. I'm sorry, everybody who gets up in arms, but naming a character after Santa Claus because he's got a white beard. Come on, that's just dumb. Don't get your butt. Don't get butt hurt over.
Was there a vintage character or a toy?
Yes, there was.
No, there wasn't, and that was
there was. Not a vintage toy, but he came out in the Saga series, and I think there are two different versions of them. You can actually get one in the Scout Trooper outfit with a removable helmet. And then they actually also made a 12-inch sideshow figure.
Did they really?
Oh yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah, Nick Sant. He exists. He is it's dumb. I never bought it because it's dumb.
Well, there's the next cancel right there. The War on Christmas. And okay, never mind. Never mind. Douglas Tupper, he's saying that Wolf still works with the Empire. I thought in that armored transport that they were on, that was Rex,
Wolf, and Gregor, and Wolf,
and Gregor.
They all three had their chips removed. However, Wolf was the one who wanted to get back in with the Empire. He felt left out because he was no
that's
longer
right. He
Imperial.
wrote their position.
Yeah, but he didn't really work for the Empire. He just was trying to give up. Yeah.
He was almost a sympathizer.
Yes, there you go. Sympathizer. Good word.
Mervine, Mervine has pretty much said what we've been wanting this whole time. They want to run into Cody.
Yes.
Again, before all the clones are destroyed. Again, this is Sarlacc theory. Before the clones are all destroyed, we want a Rex Cody confrontation.
Oh yeah,
I would love that.
Heck
and
yeah.
maybe some sort of like Rex reaching out to Cody saying, just deactivate this, and maybe they do, and that's when Cody has that major influence on his squadron that he takes his squadron and tries to deactivate all their chips, and then snowballs into what we were talking about. So good theory, but It's probably completely different. Infested probably be the most important episode.
Right? It'll be the one with the most lore in it.
Yeah,
It's the one with the most throwaway.
and we'll
name.
go like, what the heck? Are we infested, really? But the sentiment of the composer saying that it's sad. Now that's what we wanted in the beginning when we were talking about the Bad Batch to begin with, right? We wanted this to end on a Rogue One-esque note, right? Because it's ending on the world of oppression.
And there's still no word of whether or not it's coming back for a second season.
Right, exactly.
That's right. They haven't announced nothing.
Nope.
Yeah. See, this is where I like this talk a lot better than renaming a ship, because this, we take a cartoon, we take a little snippets here and there, and we run with it, and it just makes everybody feel real good. I believe,
I agree.
We could talk about real world stuff, cool, but at the same time, this is what really matters. Like going to Ryloth. Why do we go to Ryloth? And then we just go off for an hour on that. I do believe, though, within one of those things, we are going to get the beginning, the Saul Guerrera's group, and the beginnings of the rebellion. I think that's important in this one. I think that's something that needs to happen in the Bad Batch, because I don't think it was like
showing the actual birth of the rebellion.
Yeah, like
that'd be cool.
Well, because I don't think it was just a cameo at the first episode that we saw Saul Guerrera.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Cad Bane, right? Like Cad Bane Cad Bane is not a cameo at this point. He's involved in this plot. He's involved in this storyline. Now, I don't think we're finished with him still. Even now, 2 episodes we've had him, I think he's going to definitely come back. Of course, that Fennec. I think we're, like I said, I think they're going to team up. I also think that we might see Boba Fett with Fennec in one of these things. I don't know what one of those titles are making me think a lot more. Mm-hmm. I think we're going to see the start of the guild. We're going to see the start of the Bounty Hunter Guild, because we've got Fennec. We've got Cad Bane.
Doesn't it already exist?
I don't know.
I thought
I don't know. At this point, this is, I don't know how many years, 10 years before the Mandalorian, or 15 or
10 years? Yeah, let's see. At this point, it's 18 plus. Yeah, it's like 30 years almost before Mandalorian.
So I mean, like, maybe if we get a Grief Karga meeting up with, I would it be really good? Again, I think about this stuff in a tie into the Book of Fett. Book of Fett we're getting in a few months. Maybe this is going to kick off.
We get a young Gecko.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, what do you think?
That'd
Like, Boba
awesome,
Fett is the one, that's why I think that's why I wanted Fennec to be working with Boba Fett, right? At this point, right? To do all this stuff and take his sister back.
I think now that we know that he is the Alpha to her Omega confirmed, that I think it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to see something with him. I'd like to think, fingers crossed.
Wouldn't
it be incredible if the final episode of the here I am being a dick. The final episode of the season, Omega is standing in front of Boba, and he just shoots her and said there can be only one.
Oh man, I was gonna go the other route.
There's
I was
only
gonna be
the
like,
Alpha.
watch this be the Luke Skywalker scene for this is
Boba Fett coming down
how
So
Grogu went with Luke. How he was supposed to go with Luke, and Omega's supposed to go with Alpha. So she goes on to work at Walmart.
The purpose of if you take those comments and you run with those comments about the being sad, and it's only the death. It can only be, honestly, the death of Omega. And I'm not emotionally invested in Omega, but I would be invested in the Bad Batch's emotional investment in her.
Could be upset about the death of Wrecker saving Omega. I mean, that would be a kick in the pants right there.
It would, but I wouldn't cry over Wrecker.
I wouldn't cry over Omega, but
I wouldn't cry over any of these people. But I would be.
I think Wrecker's the most humanized of all of the characters.
Oh yeah.
I believe he's the one who's shown the most flaws, the most vulnerabilities. Even though he's this big tough guy,
right?
He's got such a soft spot for who I think is his best friend, who's Omega. If he were to sacrifice himself to save her life, man, that would That would wreck me, Wrecker.
Yeah, well, like Mervin says, Omega dies. Boring. Yeah, I
Boring level anyway.
but it's almost like, given that statement, okay, because we heard about that statement from the composer. Now,
Yeah.
it could be something where it touched. We could be like, that was it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Was this guy crazy? Like the death of Crosshair, really? No.
Yeah, I think I
we're
think
just-
it'd be a lot more people like not happy, but they would be for Omega dying, just out of
That's just wrong.
going
irritate,
by
like out of
Yeah.
not people being irritating with her character, but like I get what Scott's saying about Wrecker. Like I wouldn't cry over it, but it would be more emotional
Yeah.
to
Now,
see him die.
what Douglas Tupper said was, Omega and Hunter is the lone survivors of this whole thing, because it's got to come to a head. I like that. Like they go off into this, she has to be hidden forever, and Hunter is her bodyguard at this point, and all the rest of the Bad Batch die in the process. Now, again, it just makes sense in a story-driven thing. Not, again, we're going by what could be the most emotional. Now, we were dangerous in this before. We were talking about Last Jedi, right? What would be the most powerful? We started talking about Dark Leia and all that stuff, and of course, they didn't come true.
I don't know. Would it be more emotional if Hunter died?
No,
Sacrificed himself? You don't think so?
no. I honestly wouldn't be sad if any of the Bad Batch died. I really wouldn't.
I think the thing that would be really, because he's already been through so much. I think I said it in our last episode, is that I think it would be cool if Echo was the one to survive.
Wow.
He's a reg. He's just,
Yeah.
I mean, he's already been through hell and back. If
Very
he
true.
was the lone survivor to get away with her, I think that would be kind of poetic in a way. But
yeah.
I
Because
don't
the
know.
only way right now, as we know it, that Omega dies is if they the Kaminoans get her and they extract all the material they need and they kill her.
It's Boba Fett. He's taking her down. There can be only one.
Yeah.
I laugh. He says that too. There could be only one.
Highlander.
That's it.
Cuts her head off.
Yeah. This took
You're
a dark turn.
Yeah.
Evil.
Oh my God. But yeah, I mean, we're again all speculation. It's the fun part of it.
The composer is Kevin Kinnear.
Okay.
He is the composer. He also did Rebels and Clone Wars, and he's been in it from the beginning. So, yeah.
Awesome. Let's see here. Mervine, what does he say? Last episode, final stand, and Luke shows up and saves the day. Won't make sense, and the timeline won't fit, but that's what every Star Wars fan wants, right?
That's right.
I think, yes, every fan wants that, but in the Bad Batch,
Poor Luke.
Luke is not even Luke at this point.
He's a 6-month-old baby, and
Right.
that would work perfectly. Let's make it
6-month-old
happen.
baby getting yelled at by Uncle Owen.
But to piggyback to piggyback on Mervine, yes, I don't care how old he is. That's what we want. We want to see it in every aspect. Absolutely.
He's telling baby Luke, you can waste times with your friends later.
Hey, how about
Have some
let's see?
blue milk.
No. Oh yeah. So we're not going back to Corellia. If we go back to Corellia, we might see a young Han. So okay.
Here we are making it all small again. Hey,
We are.
you were talking about Luke. There was a tweet from Mark Hamill the other day who was comparing drinking blue milk to green milk. And he said that the blue milk was an actual substance, an actual milk, like dehydrated sweet milk that was warm and just absolutely disgusting.
Okay. Oh.
And that the green milk that he drank from the teat of the Octu beast
Right.
was actually really, really tasty and fruity.
Hey man, I
So
might be in
there
the
you
minority
go.
here, but everybody goes to Batu. I actually like the green milk.
Do you?
I do. I think
I like the blue
tastes
one.
pretty- I like the blue, but
Yeah,
The
the
green is
green.
not
I
bad.
think the green milk's a little bit better.
it tastes like Pez.
They both taste all right.
It's
I
liquid
mean,
Pez, man. It's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
It'd be a little even better with a shot of like rum or something.
There was
I
supposed
can't-
to be alcoholic blue milk and green, or wasn't there? Like,
I
supposed
can't
to be-
disagree with that. I mean, everything's better with a little shot of something in it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I was always looking for like, where's the alcoholic blue milk? I think there was supposed to be some there.
Next week, next Wednesday, July 7th, I am going back to Disneyland. I'm going back to Batu.
Awesome,
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
awesome! I can't wait to get back there. I
Ah.
really can't. So I want to kind of pre-promote next episode of the Sarlacc Digest. Next Monday we'll be back doing this again at 8:00 live. But I'm going to post. I'm going to post a video that Cliff in the chat room had sent me, and I thought it was very, very interesting. Now I'm just going to preempt this, and you guys can speculate, and then we'll have a whole week to speculate on this.
Oh boy.
So the video is, and I'm going to post this on our Facebook, Sarlacc, all our social media, so everybody go check that out too. But it was very interesting, and it was basically saying how, and I know your first reaction here, you're going to shake your head no, but it was basically saying how Rebels split the timeline, and the sequels was one thing with Ahsoka dying, and the Rebels, and what we're getting now with Bad Batch, Mandalorian, and everything is Ahsoka living, two separate timelines. It's an interesting video. I was very on the fence, going like, hell no, they won't do it. It's stupid. But I watched it. I go, you know what? Damn you, Cliff.
So
it makes a lot of sense.
The TVA might show up and call them all variants.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cliff, exactly. It's and he pre-warned me. It isn't a hate video on a sequel. It is absolutely not a hate video on a sequels, and I agree with them. And again, Cliff, I watched it and I was like, you know what? It made me start thinking, because I've been fighting this. I've been fighting it. Like, no, they won't do that. Will they do that? But the video makes it make sense because of the world between worlds and why we're getting an Ahsoka series. It's not just to find Thrawn. It's it's this whole different thing, So
I love alternate realities. I love alternate timelines.
Right.
I think that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy Back to the Future 2. It's just such a really cool take on time travel and the way things can change and manipulate around you.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the original Back to the Future, that whenever he is at the Twin Pines Mall, and he ends up in the past and he runs over one of the trees. And in the future, whenever he comes back, it's the Lone Pine Mall.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, that kind of attention to detail in time travel, I love it. However, I don't think that Disney, Lucasfilm, and Star Wars would be brave enough to take on something that monumental.
And that's my initial thought. Again, I want you to watch this video and then see, because again, it was actually like, wow, this is actually pretty cool, because they can, if they really wanted to, and I'll say something that, whatever, if they really wanted to retcon the sequels, this is the way to do it. And it actually makes sense. But I will say also to Cliff too, that took a lot of foresight, because when all that world between worlds stuff was happening was after Last Jedi, right? So they would be having to think that, because that was season. No, it was before Last Jedi.
It was before Last Jedi.
Yeah, so
it was.
You really think of it, they had to anticipate. So they had to anticipate the sequels being bad for them to. We have something that could be fixed. Now,
so
I think
the world between worlds is the getaway car.
Yeah, their get out of jail free car. It's too much of a foresight to be like, just in case the sequels are bad, we're gonna put this in there, and then we can go to plan B. But again, it's an interesting video. It's a good talk. We could talk about it because it's actually, it does seem like a direction they're going into. It just does. It seems like it. So,
because I mean, even if you wanted to retcon the whole thing with like legend stuff, as far as like with the whole thing with Luke's son and who was it with the whole original thing, with Ben Solo and everything, and the whole thing. If they wanted to do that, they could go to do this whole world between worlds thing type thing.
Yeah, and this is where Cliff and I agree with this. Is like Ahsoka's title had the world between world, like it seemed like it was going in that, and the whole video is based on Ahsoka living and Ahsoka dying.
You know what though? That could also just be, she's living in this straightforward world, in this very linear world, and all of a sudden she's taken out of that linear world, pulled into the world between worlds. And I haven't seen this video, so I could be saying exactly what they say. And it just opens up her horizon, opens up her eyes to exactly the power the Force has. The power of the Force can't. It could have changed the trajectory of her life from that point on.
Well. So we don't know if she died in the duel of Vader, but we assume that she died.
Right. And she would have died.
Well, because as far as we know, her and Ezra are the only ones that walk between it, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Palpatine almost got there.
Right.
Palpatine almost got.
He couldn't directly do. He had to use. but she was pulled out, which skewed this the time space continuum, to like Ahsoka lives, and now we are going on this trajectory from that point. Ahsoka dies, we have the sequels. Again,
Interesting.
It's a very interesting. It made me take a look and go, you know what? This is great line talk because it's actually a great what if series. But again, I look back and go, it's too much of a foresight for them to think about this way before the events of Last Jedi,
Rise of Skywalker, and the Rise.
Yeah, I mean they would only.
Yeah.
Here's the thing though, it's a way out. If Disney really, really, really wanted to go, look, we have to it's so toxic, we got to cut base. This is the way to do it, and they have the Ahsoka series to do it.
Though. They can't because they can't get. They'll never get Han Solo back. They'll never get Princess Leia back. I mean, unless you
don't have to. You just don't. It's an alternative. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do, because you're right. Like I said, I think this might be a way of an alternate kind of like doing things and using the world between worlds concept, because again, we got it. It was, to me, it was like, whoa, what is this?
Yeah.
I need more. What explain more, please. And
Pitch
we
time.
haven't gone back to it yet.
Pitch time. Here we go. It's the Maz Kanata show, World Between Worlds, what if scenario, where Maz Kanata is standing there talking to you about the mystical ways of the Force, and she's in the world between worlds and pulling on threads and see if this would have happened, this would have happened.
Yeah.
Giving us that kind of a what if scenario like they did in the old Marvel comics.
Correct. That's what they're doing now on Disney Plus.
That's your story for another time.
There we go.
Remember when they asked? Yeah.
There's a great meme, right? I saw it too. It said, me waiting for Maz Kanata to tell me this story of how she got, the story for another time. Still.
And it's just a skeleton.
Like I thought, yeah, exactly. But anyway, it's an interesting video. I want everybody to watch it because I think we'll bring that up next week to see how this actually can. Because again, me viewing it, I was like, wait a second, this is a way out. If they really, really, really wanted to go on this timeline, like the sequels never happened, and it's almost like closing your left eye and just moving forward. They can do it. But I don't know if this is the way they're doing it. It was just interesting. So
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna post it for you guys to watch, and then we'll talk about it on next Monday.
Okay.
So when we have Chris here to digest that also, and of course our people in the pit, go watch that movie. Thank you, Cliff, for pointing that out to me, because it's, again, Cliff and I talk a lot about the sequels and Star Wars a lot and stuff, and I got to the point where it's like nothing is we're not trying to change each other's minds about it. It's just that we have I'm always at the mind frame of like, this happened and I can't change it. I don't know what to tell you. Like whatever. And Cliff is not like that either. It's just that there are certain things in the world that the real world, bringing it back, that everybody wants to just make the sequels go away. And I'm like, yeah, I have my problems with it, but at the same time, I'm having fun with Star Wars now, even with the Mandalorian going back and doing these things and going forward. And some of it is making the sequels make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I still think that there was a trajectory set, and episode 9 just kind of screwed it all up.
I was talking to this to Cliff too, like all the time. I go, you know what? My problems don't even lie in episode 7 and 8 anymore. It lies all in 9, 100% in 9. 9, half of it's just the execution of Last Jedi I didn't like, like the comedy stuff, but half the story is awesome, half the story is I didn't like. But episode 9, I walked out there going, hey, this is cool. And then I'm like, wait a second.
The more you watch it, the worse it gets.
Yeah. I was like, that ain't cool. This is not Star Wars. This is not how it works.
From the moment they set foot on the Death Star wreckage to the moment that Kylo throws his lightsaber is just about perfect film. It's beautifully shot. It's wonderfully executed. It's a great duel. The end result is amazing.
Yeah.
But everything before that and everything after that,
yeah, it was exactly. So we'll see. I know. Yeah. I don't even watch them. I mean, it's not that I protest either. It's just that
they're not your go-to.
They're not my go-to, and I'm more invested into what Disney's doing now with Star Wars than what they did.
Basically, if they're showing on TNT or something like that, I'm watching.
Yeah,
but I won't go and like.
I'll watch them in a marathon. Yeah. But again, I'm more interested in what Disney's doing now with Star Wars than what they started with it. Like with all the shows that they got going on, the animated stuff, the live action
is bright.
I'm reinvigorated with that more than worrying about what the sequels did, because you can basically take the sequels and put them somewhere else and just continue this whole thing that we've been living in Star Wars for the last 45 years or 44 years. So there,
I'm good with that.
Take it with that. So with that, again, everybody, we're gonna end it. I think we're done. Until next week. Look for us on all our social media stuff, our TikTok, because Scott's on fire over there. But everybody, thank you. I'm going to send it over to Scott, and Scott's going to take us out. But everybody in the pit, thank you very much for joining us and talking it up. I love this. I couldn't wait to podcast tonight because, a week goes by and it's like, I got to talk about this stuff. And hopefully we have the whole, more crew next week and that. So with that, Scott, take us out.
All right. Hey, you can find us on all of our social medias. Just look for the Sarlacc Digest on Instagram. Bootleg Joe, you're bootleg _760, right?
Bootleg Joe _760, yeah.
There we go on Instagram. TikTok, Sarlacc Digest Podcast, for our 1-minute toy reviews that are we're getting some traction on it. I'm kind of impressed.
I like him. I like that format.
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
You can also find us. We're usually on all times of the day, Sarlacc Digest Central on Facebook, because we're old. We sit on Facebook. That's what we do.
We're supposed to be working.
That's shh. So yeah, just check us out anywhere you see the Sarlacc Digest logo, which is right up there in the top. Wait, up there.
Up there. There you go. You just touched it.
Anywhere you see that logo, that's the official Sarlacc Digest. So
yes.
Give us a follow. And of course, patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest Podcast. Please consider becoming a patron. It's because of you that we have this new format that we can work so well with everybody. And
yes, absolutely.
That's all I got, man.
Cool. We do also have a Beyond the Pit segment that we started last week or 2 weeks ago. We talked about Marvel. So if we do everything, there's Star Wars and there's everything else, and that is the Everything Else series that we will be dropping another one this week too. So stay tuned on what subject matter we're going to do, because again, we're nerds. We love talking about everything pop culture, and we have some good surprises and some good talk. So
I do love the idea that you have of the wheel of subjects.
Yes. Sometimes when we get on, even me, I don't even know what we're going to talk about, but it's something that I am confident I will know what I'm talking about. We'll see, though. You guys be the judge of that in the comments, and like, share, and tell a friend. So everybody, again, thank you very much for all your generous comments and being involved. So until next week,
keep it nerdy.